For a quarter of a century after the War of 1812, only a few Americans explored the West. Then, in the 1840s, expansion fever gripped the country. Many Americans began to believe their movement westward was predestined by God. The phrase Manafest Destiny expressed the belief that the United States was ordained to expand to the Pacific Ocean and into Mexican and Native American territory. Many Americans also believed that the destiny was manifest or obvious and inevitable.
As various presidents established policies in the early 19th century that expanded U.S. territory, American settlers pushed first into the Northwest Territory and then headed farther west into Mexican and Native American territory.
Most Americans had practical reasons for moving west. For settlers, the abundance of land was the greatest attraction. The natives were angry that the settlers took their land, so they chased them. No. They chased them.
At the start of the gold rush, prospectors usually looked for easily available gold. Particles award from the rocks and washed downstream. In the Civil War, in the turn of the century, deposits of precious yellow metal were discovered in scattered sites. From the Black Hills of South Dakota and Cripple Creek, Colorado to Nome, in Alaska, the dream of riches lured hundreds and thousands of prospectors into territories that were previously inhabited only by native peoples.
Back then, if you wanted something to eat, you sometimes had to go kill and clean it yourself. People built their houses by hand. They also had their own gardens, and sometimes they were even attacked by the natives. Some of the native tribes weren't friendly, and they would attack the settlers. As the settlers were moving, sometimes some of the tribes would attack their covered wagons and kidnap people. Sometimes they would be scalped.
In 1836, Texas became independent. The Mexicans left, leaving their cattle behind. Beef was not popular, so the animals were used for their skins and tallow. There were approximately 5 million longhorn cattle in Texas in 1865, but there was no market for them in the South. There was, however, a market in the North. If the ranchers could get their cattle to the North, they would fetch 10 times what they were worth in the South.
Railroads became a popular way of transportation. They helped settlers move west, helped make a bunch of little towns along the way to big cities. They used coal to power the trains, and the trains were used to transport people and goods.